All right, so I'm going to mute everybody except for, well, Jesse, I did not mean to mute you. Sorry about that.
I'm good.
There we go. I'm going to mute everybody except Jesse and myself and Cindy. And Cindy, we want to commend you for taking action and, starting the year off with some accountability and really, hitting up some contacts. I mean, we all of us, including myself and Jesse, we all have all the information. We all know what to do, but until we take the actions, it doesn't matter. And the number one thing that we found, that I found to be the most important part of this entire thing is consistency with those actions. Because if I'm not consistent in making those contacts every day, I'm not consistent in my daily routine, it very quickly falls apart. And I commend you for getting off on the right foot, Cindy, and we want to help you keep that momentum going. So Cindy, why don't you tell us, first of all, how many transactions did you do last year total?
22.
22. And what's your goal for this year?
60.
60. Okay, good. So that is a 200% increase. Is that right, Jesse?
100.
No, that's almost 200.
Oh, 100. I'm 100 meaning you're correct. Sorry.
Gotcha. I'm 100% correct that's about 175% increase in business, right? That's doable. It's a lofty goal, Cindy, but if you listen to me before, I've been able to do that in the past, so I don't see why you couldn't. You're actually probably a better realtor than I am, so there's no reason in the world you wouldn't be able to do this if you take these tools and use them. So 22 to 60. So where are you at right now, closed pending for 2021?
One closed, one pending.
How many listings do you have?
One.
Okay. Here's the stark reality. You're going to have to kick ass to get to that 60 with only one listing right now. You're going to have to do something extraordinary in the next couple of months in order to get there. That's the reality. I've been here and I've done that. I've done 60 plus deals, probably 4 years. And I've always had multiple listings active at any given time, like 10 or more. Now you do a lot of buy side deals, so that's up to you if that's what your business model is. And there's a lot more buyers than sellers right now, so good for you. If you're able to do,
I would like more listings.
What's that?
I said I would like more listings for sure. I do have one that will come on the market within the month. Okay.
So what are you doing right now? And I'm not trying to be critical, but I am going to be hard a little bit here, just because that's just kind of how I am. I want the reality to sink in about how hard this is going to be for you and what you're going to have to do. So if you continue doing what you've been doing for the last week or the last 3 or 4 days, you'll hit the 60. If you back off at all, you won't. That's the reality. Because I know I can see your numbers already, and you're making, I believe it's 25 contacts a day approximately that you've made, right?
On average, yeah.
Okay, so 25 a day is going to get you maybe get you 60 deals. It's going to be close. If you want that to, solidify you to for sure be 60 deals, you probably need to bump that up to 30 on average. So who are you calling of these 25, 30 contacts a day right now?
I have been focusing on my sphere of influence and my people I've ever worked with real estate. So everybody that was in my MLS. I've been going to those.
Past clients, anybody that's ever had a search going on in the MLS with you?
Right.
Okay. And of those two sources, how many deals of your 22 last year did you do out of those two sources? Was that most
18?
of them?
I would say 18.
Where'd the other 4 come from?
Open houses.
Okay. So right now, SOI and people that are in the MLS resulted in about I'm going to assume then you have probably about 250 people in those groups, maybe less.
Actually more.
How many?
MLS is like 324 and sphere of influence is about 500.
Oh, okay. Now the sphere of influence, are these people that all of them know you and you know all of them?
Yes.
Okay. There's 50 deals right there for you if you work that.
I
So
agree.
what are you doing to reach out to those sphere of influence and those other 300 people that are in the MLS? What's your system look like?
My system is I go by the last name of the alphabet, which KB Core doesn't do that yet. I've asked them, but I usually go by the last name of the alphabet. And I do 2 letters a week. So I get to everybody 4 times a year.
Okay. So you go by 2 letters a week. I get it. So 26.
So it's like A and W or B and E.
Okay. And what are you doing to connect with them?
Call, text, or email if I don't have the phone numbers, which some of them I don't.
Okay.
Or the numbers don't work anymore because they were house numbers and they've dropped them.
So would you say out of those 500 that you're actually able to contact 95% of them or 100%?
In some way I can contact everybody 100%.
Okay.
I just prefer to do phone or text and I can't with everybody. That's probably 90%.
And you said that's because they have a home phone number?
They had home phone numbers. That's what I had for them and they've dropped those to do their cell and I don't have
Still
the
have
cell.
their address?
I do.
Okay. So here's my suggestion to really take advantage of the 500 people you have in your sphere of influence and past clients and to make sure that you get at least double your business from last year with just those people. I know that you're contacting them via phone or text message or email, you said, is also another way you do it 4 times
Right.
a
If
year?
I don't have the phone number, then I do email.
Okay. So I would do this. I would suggest that you, number one, with those 500 people, and I would add the other 324 to the list. But let me ask you this, those 324 that are in the MLS, are these people that you may or may, you've never really done a deal with, but at one time they said they were interested in buying or selling, mostly buying?
It's a combination.
Okay. So what I would do is I would find a way, and I know you can do this through KV Core and probably not spend any money. I would do a newsletter once a month by email and set that up automatically. Minimum once a month to all those people. That alone, if you did that and you took, do you have an extra half hour in your week do you have an extra hour every month that you could spend on that?
I can find an extra hour.
Okay. So if you could find 1 hour out of the month, 1 hour, not a day or a week, 1 hour out of the month to actually prepare, personally put some input into that, whether or not you get a service to do it or you do it yourself, it doesn't really matter. But the more personalized it is, the more effective it's going to be. And get that out once a month to all 825 people. Okay. That's number one.
Okay.
If you do that once a month, starting this month, I could virtually guarantee you there's another 5 to 10 deals right there. Okay. Because this is a gold mine that you have, especially those 500 people. So there's never in my real estate career, well, I take that back. This market is better than it's been in a decade right now, right here, right now. And I assume there's a lot of people that you have in your database that at one point in time have said, we're thinking about selling, but we bought at the wrong time. We really can't get enough money for our house. I guarantee that of all the 500 people that are out there that there's probably 100 people that those people know that fit that criteria that have no idea that they might be able to get $25,000 to $50,000 more for their house than they could last year. I've seen it already in this market. That's how hot this market is because there's no inventory. So you really want to, in that email, You want to put in there, you know, what's going on in the market, what you're seeing for pricing, what the inventory absorption rate looks like, all those factors, and let them know that if you've thought about selling in the last 10 years, this could be the best opportunity you have to get the absolute most for your home. We do not have any inventory, and we want to help you maximize the equity that you have worked so hard for. If you know anybody, please let us know. We would like to help them. So send out a newsletter once a month. As far as calling and texting them, I agree with that. You should do that. What I think you should do, if you want to maximize this, is instead of 4 times a year right now, at least for the next 2 quarters, while the market, you know, is hot as hell, I would call every single one of them that you can, okay, every 45 days. And I would also text everyone that you know you can text every 45 days. So if you know they're going to respond to a text or a call, you either call or text every one of them every 45 days. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me to do, but damn it, if I was sitting there working real hard and, you know, my kid had COVID and everything was, you know, I knew somebody that died and everybody's out of work, but I'm working really hard and I hear the market's really good, but I have no clue what my house is worth because I just haven't really thought about it. And damn, you know, I'm getting ready to retire at the end of the year. I would want to know that this could be the best opportunity for me to, you know, sell my house and take all that equity and move to Florida right now and maybe look at those numbers, at least so I know what's going on. So you want to be in front of those people and help them.
Additionally, Cindy, do you have your database broken up by like A, B, C? Like, hey, these are the people that are most likely to, or maybe they're a vendor or somebody that, like an attorney that always interacts with people making financial decisions?
I don't call it A, B, and C, but when I transfer everything over into KB Core, I did kind of reanalyze everybody, and the hot ones at least are
Cool.
pulled
And
out,
so-
and the ones that dropped off have gotten pushed back to prospect.
So those ones that Steve's talking about that they may feel uncomfortable. If there's somebody that's really likely, I would put them in that A category, like call them even once a month, right?
Okay.
Like a vendor, right? If it's your landscaper, they talk to a lot of people that are homeowners and they're an attorney.
Yeah, I would say call or text every one of them a minimum of every 45 days, no more than every 30 days right now, especially even if your mindset is, hey, for the next 6 months, I'm going to do that. It's going to exponentially increase the amount of business you get. And make sure that you use a script, and make sure that if you get somebody on the phone, to ask them 2 or 3 questions. If they say they're not selling, you know, I can appreciate that. And these are in the scripts. I can appreciate that, John, that you're not going to be selling anytime soon. You're happy with where you're at. But, you know, while I have you on the phone, I was wondering if you could help me out. Well, I guess, sure. Who else can you think of? Maybe somebody at your church, maybe a neighbor, maybe a family member that has talked about selling sometime in the last 6 months to 2 years, that maybe doesn't know what the value of their house is right now with prices going up. Is there somebody out there that we could help? We really want to make sure that we're not getting those phone calls, you know, a year from now from people saying, man, I wish I would have sold a year ago, like we did in 2008 and 9. We don't want that to happen this time. And we're seeing a market that's out of control right now. Who do you know? You know, you don't have to tell them all that, but use a portion of that and then listen to what they say. They're going to go, you know, I can't think of anybody, but if I do, I will let you know. John, I really, really appreciate that. I really do. And if there's anything else I could do for you, please feel free to reach out. If there's anybody you think of, make sure that you let me know and I'll give them a call. Sound good? What was your question?
Oh, the scripts, are they in your Website?
They are, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that's a gold mine you have, Cindy. I would not hesitate to overcall them, over email them. This is what you do. This is your job. It's important that you let them know what the heck is going on in the market right now. So that's number one. Okay, so besides the SOI and the people that are in the MLS, who else are you talking to, or who else do you plan on talking to, and what does that look like?
I've been listening to Simone's agent calls,
Good.
and I really do want to jump on that and start incorporating that into what I do every week.
You're talking about agent attraction?
Agent attraction.
Okay. Right now, let's just focus completely on business, because if you want to do 60 deals, you're going to have to be hyper focused on that. I know that you want to do agent attraction, and you can whittle that into, your day. And I would say if you do 60 transactions, though, think about this. There's going to be at least 60 agents you're going to be working with throughout the year that you're going to have an opportunity to show them what a great agent you are, how much you like them, how much you care about them, and maybe have that conversation about, an introduction to EXP and how you were able to take your business from 22 to 60. How powerful will that be?
That's true.
So I wouldn't veer away from your focus on sales. Just by you attending all these things, you're gonna get this, and you're gonna be able to recruit agents, and we're gonna have live events and stuff on a weekly basis here very soon again, and you'll be at those. So don't worry about that. Don't really worry too much about that. Okay.
Okay.
And if you really just want to get somebody introduced to EXP and they bite it all, just set up a meeting with me, and I'll help you with that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So other than the SOI and the people in your MLS, who else are you planning on calling? And I assume you're going to do some open houses when you can?
I will. Yeah, I will do open houses, especially like right now, my listing is it's a piece of land, so I can't really do an open house there. But the ones coming up will be houses. So, but especially those. And then probably my goal is 2 a month, probably starting in March.
I think that's good. I open houses right now are a freaking gold mine too. If you can get a listing, and what you do on those, and I'm gonna maybe sound redundant here, but I want to make sure everybody understands how to do this, because sometimes people don't. I just assume when you get a listing, when you go to the listing appointment, you want to get them on a private listing agreement. Why do you want to do that? Because what do you tell them to get them to do that? Say, listen, I have a marketing strategy. That we've used that has helped all of our sellers recently get over list price or full list price. That's what you want, right? You want to set the price on your house and get that price or more. If that's what you'd like to do, why don't we do this? Let's use my strategy. I will put you on what's called a private listing network, which allows me to market the home to the thousands of people that I have in my database, along with all the agents in the market right now that have buyers. So in essence, without putting you on the live market and without running the clock on market time, I'm able to market your house and possibly get it sold with a minimal amount of showings and get you the price you want. You want to take advantage of that, don't you? Yes, I do. Great. Okay, so you sign them up with the private listing network, paperwork with a listing agreement. You take a couple of pictures of the house. You go and you put them on the private listing network right away. If you have a week or two ahead, before they want to go active, that's great. That's perfect. Because regardless of whether or not you have 2 weeks, if all you need is about 4 days. If you go and meet with somebody on a Monday or on a Monday, put them on the private listing network, let them know that you're not going to actively list the house until Thursday morning, which you do. And on top of that, you are not going to show the house until Saturday at 11 o'clock. That's the first time showings will be allowed, because that's when we're going to do our mega open house. And that's typically when we're going to be able to get multiple offers and get all the people into the house at one time. So that way, when they leave, you can clean up with Lysol and all that other Clorox and COVID prevention you have to do. So it's just a one-time show. We may have somebody that wants to come in and see it before the open house. If they do, I'm going to make sure that it's somebody that's probably going to write a full price offer or they're not going in. And these are all realistic things that are happening right now. And these are exciting things. And the best part about it is, even if you get an offer on the house, you really want to be careful to make sure that you're going to allow that open house to happen on Saturday, because that's where you're going to get a couple of buyers or sellers. I mean, I've done that. I've only done one or two open houses in the last 4 or 5 months, but I have somebody that's a buyer and a seller from each one of those. So you just got to talk to the people and make them feel important and listen to them when you're at the open house. So those are a big deal. That's going to be 10 deals for you right there. If you can do 2 open houses a month, starting in March, you should be able to get another 10 deals from there. So I'm just adding this up. Conservatively 30 from your SOI, 10 from open houses, we're up to 40, maybe 45. All right, so what else are you doing as far as contacts? Who else are you calling? Because you're going to run out of people to call. If you have 500 people in your database and you call them every 45 days, I'm not going to do the math for you, but that's not going to be 25, 30 contacts a day the whole year.
I do have other people that are not, I mean, my number of contacts is actually 3,000 something, but most of those I don't consider sphere of influence. So the rest of those, they're either from my neighborhood or from this church, school, or sports, things like that, that I don't really know them, but I've got their information. So I will add those people in too.
That's a big deal. You definitely should. Anybody that you feel comfortable calling that knows you or you know them, add them to that list. Add them to that list. If you could grow your database, the reason that John Tsai does 125 million in volume every year is because he has a database of like 5,000 people, and that's where he gets all his business from. So if you grow your database to 2,000 to 3,000 people over the next year, you will be doing 100 deals a year if you want to in the next 24 months or so, a year. That's a gold mine. So I would say you're on the right track. The number one most important thing about all this is consistency with following through and making those calls every day. And I would highly suggest, do you have RedX or Mojo or anything like that, a dialer?
I don't.
I would suggest maybe getting Mojo or RedX. RedX is going to cost you about $600 a month. Mojo is about 150. Really, if you have that big of a database, you could probably just go with Mojo. And what you would use the database for is on days when you run out of people to call, which you might, you can go into the Mojo dialer and you can do a rubber band search around one of your listings that you sold this week or last year. It really doesn't matter. It'd be better if it was one that you sold or somebody that you bought a house for in the last 6 months or 3 months, and call around the neighborhood and say, hey, this is, and there's a script for this. It's called the just sold script. And oh my God, those are easy calls to make because they're not being bombarded typically by a lot of real estate agents. They're not like expired or canceled or FSBO. Mm-hmm. And you'll have to make a lot of calls, but quite honestly, those are good filler calls. In order for you to do 60 deals a year, from how I know to do this without spending a lot of money, is you're going to have to make 30 calls a day, 25 to 30 on average. Okay. So if you have a couple of days when you don't have anybody to call, you get into the rhythm of calling 10 or 20 of those just listed, just solds, and you can whip through those very quickly. All right. And 1 out of 100 is going to be a deal that you talk to. And believe me, 3 out of 10 are going to be like a very quick, hello and goodbye. Another 2 out of 10 are going to be a conversation that lasts about a minute. And the other one, the 1 out of 10 might be a conversation that's going to be a lead in the future, or somebody that's going to do some business real quickly for you. And you can
Okay.
meet some very, you can be doing those calls. You can meet somebody that gets you 10 deals over the next year. It's just a numbers game. So what's your daily schedule look like? And then well, let me ask you this. What questions do you have? Because we only have a couple minutes. We got 3 minutes left. What questions do you have for us, or help do you need?
Probably the only thing is within KV Core, I know there's ways to like do regular emails and mass emails through there. How much do you guys use that, and what do you send out?
I don't, to be honest with you, but there's some very simple ways to do that. One thing I would suggest is if you go into, I was going to actually mention this. John did a call 2 weeks ago for his half hour of power with a guy that uses KV Core exclusively, and he gets about 15 to 20 deals a month out of it and gives them away to his team. And it was a very simple, refined process that was absolutely mind-boggling. That recording is on his Facebook. John, if you search for John Sy and go to I think it's in the 7-digit, or no, the 2 comma coaching. Or no, it's on his YouTube. It's in his YouTube. John Sy, go to YouTube. It's in there from 2 weeks ago. And I don't remember the guy's name. Maybe Pushkar, somebody could put it in the chat.
His name was Jesse.
His name is Jesse. You're correct. Look for that and just watch that. It's a 30-minute video, and you'll get some tips out of there that if you want to use KV Core will change your life.
Okay, I'm just thinking to
watch
get
it.
to those other 2,000 people that I don't know that well, just to be getting something out to them.
That's what he's doing. He's just gets up in the morning and sends out a mass text to like 40 people and gets a lot of F-offs and take me off the list, but then he gets 1 or 2 that are a deal.
Okay.
So that'd be a good way to go. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to sign off here. Jesse, if you can stay for another minute, if there's any other questions to help out, and I'll see you guys next week. Cindy, you're kicking ass, taking names. I love it. I want to get you to 60 deals this year. So keep reaching out and keep doing what you're doing. Okay.
Okay.
Can you make me a co-host real quick, Steve, so that I don't get kicked off as well?
Wow. How do I do that?
You click on, I think, on participants. There's a little icon. If you hover over, it says more, and you click on make co-host.
Oh, of course I can.
Oh, that way I think we'll still be on if you leave us.
All right. I'm going to head out and just, yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, cool.
Leave me.
We also did a call. I'm going to paste the link with Tom Eboli, and I'm going to put the link for that in the chat. And that was like best practices with KV Core, like using it for Facebook, posting your listings on online social media, follow up with leads. So I posted a link to that there as well, which it was very helpful to a lot of people last year when we did that. So we recorded it. And then also there's another call we did where we talked about email. Let me see if I can find that specifically. Because I think everything Steve said, emailing your database on a consistent basis is like one of the most underrated things that people do not do. It's guaranteed like 15 deals a year if you got a good enough database, easily. With 500 people, 1,000 people, it's 25 to 50 deals a year, and people just don't do it. So let me find that KV Core one on email real quick. Because we set this up with, I think Jim set it up with KV Core to do his database. I think that way. Is that, if I'm not mistaken?
The way that I use my workflow.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Cindy, I just sent out I broke my, if you ever want to call me or something, but I broke out, I'm sorry, I'm listening to John Sy YouTube thing. It looks awesome. To my prospects, to my, kind of like leads, new leads. It's broken up 5 or 6 different ways. I too have about 800 names, and I've definitely gotten hits off it. Matter of fact, last week alone, I got 3 people that I've been putting market reports out to that, finally want to get off their couch and go finally do something with a house one way or the other. It's very simple to set up. There's a KV Core cheat sheet I could send to you if you want. Jesse knows this thing stuff backwards, but just to save you some time from a street level.
Sure. How would I get that from you?
Pretty slick how it works. Yeah.
Okay. How would I get
Easy to
that?
set up too, very easy. And the content I use is I love this product called Keeping Current Matters. It's a paid service. It's like 20 some odd dollars a month. I'm sure you know what it is, but you could put your website on there. You can put your contact information. It's a landing page, so you can pick up some leads from that as well, and you can post at Facebook and such.
Okay. And how would I get that information from you?
What I'll do, I don't know, I'll share, Jesse, what do I do? Just go in the chat.
Put a link in the chat. Yeah, I also just put a link to a video that I did about emailing your database, and that's in the chat as well. But yeah, just paste it in the chat.
Okay.
That's appreciate that, Jim. That's very helpful.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
And as more people go online and more people on their phones and on their computers, being in front of them every way possible, phone, text, email, social media, it's just be in front of them. That's it. It doesn't have to be fancy, just being in front of them. I get email newsletters from people that it's all text. I get some where it's just a video they recorded on YouTube and they email out a link to it. Viral marketing. They have people send out little how-to or educational videos every 2 weeks to their database. That's also a good method where you just, hey, here's how to X, or here's a market update. And then 2 videos a month, 3 to 5 minutes long. Very, very good way of keeping in touch with your database. And that way you're not just asking for business, you're actually giving them something useful.
Yeah, Jesse, I did my first video for a listing I had sold in 4 days.
Nice.
It was the best. It was a local firm. I can't believe how inexpensive it is relative to the overall price of a home. And I was very impressed with it. It's I mean, you're the master at this Fiverr and all that. I'm not any good at that, but I just hired a firm. I said for $280, I could never come up with the work they did. So
Sweet.
anyway.
That's cool. Okay. So if the chat box is okay, yeah, it's on. All right. What else? Anything else? Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to discuss? You want to brainstorm anything? Anybody else want to? Or Cindy, if you have anything else you want to chat about, feedback on?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I echo everything that Steve said. Database is a huge, huge opportunity, and let's go do it. Everybody have a great week. Holler at us if you need anything.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Cheers. Have a good one.
Jesse.
How do I stop the recording? There we go.